Welcome to all friends, excellencies, and ladies and gentlemen, scholars from around the world, and also especially from South Asia. Harmony greetings from Abu Dhabi. The World Muslim Communities Council co-organized this online symposium in association with the University of Nahdlatul Ulama, Yogyakarta, Indonesia, and various universities and interfaith, interreligious organizations from region to encourage understanding of shared heritage, ethnic identities, mutual development, and promote coexistence in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia nurtures harmony of homegrown civilizations, ethnic groups, and religion, and promote cultural exchange and religious coexistence to build community of shared better future. This conference will open by His Excellency Dr. Ali Rashid Al Nuaimi, the Chairman of the World Muslim Communities Council. His Excellency Dr. Ali Rashid Al Nuaimi, Chairman of the World Muslim Community Council, is leading international expert on extremism and education. He has more than 30 years of outstanding academic and professional achievements in government, non-government, and private sectors within United Arab Emirates and abroad. As a pioneer of educational reform and policy in UAE, Dr. Al Nuaimi served as Chancellor of United Arab Emirates University and Chairman of Abu Dhabi Development of Education and Knowledge, ADEC, in his capacity as member of Executive Council of Government of Abu Dhabi. As a prominent advocate of global peace, harmony, and coexistence, Dr. Ali Nuaimi is currently serving the first chairman of International Steering Board of Hidayah and International Center for Excellence for Countering Violent Extremism based in Abu Dhabi. He is the first Secretary General of Muslim Council of Elders. More than that, he always supports all the endeavors for peace and harmony around the world. I warmly welcome the chairman, His Excellency Dr. Ali Rashid Al Nuaimi, to deliver his opening address, please.
Thank you, Dr. Abbas. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear friends, I'm sorry I'm traveling. I'm outside the UAE. But I didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk with you and engage with you in this initiatives. Globalism is a reality. It's a fact. It's everywhere. And diversity, it's something that we are living with today. All our communities, all our society are very diverse. In these communities, there is people from different religion, different ethnic, different nationality, different colors. So it's very important that we promote the values that, create resilience and create an integration between all the component of all communities. And this is where it's very important, to invest actually in promoting coexistence value, especially with what's happening in the world now. The mobility of people, it's not only tourists, business, student, people are, moving from a place to another by hundreds of millions. And this is where you want to make sure that the new generation, they embrace the value of acceptance, respect, coexistence, appreciate the others. It's not only you want them to appreciate those who share the same values that they have, but also you want them also to appreciate, the values that, the others have. And this is where it's very important that we invest in this. When you look at Southeast Asia and Asia, it's a very diverse community. You will see people from different religion, different ethnic, different madhab. So it's very important that we invest, especially in education, in the university, in the schools, where the new generation will embrace these values, believe in them, and live with them. we have to learn how to live with our differences, because it's either that we fight because of our differences, and if we do so, we all will lose. There is no winner. But if we learn to live with our differences, with respect and acceptance of others, I think there will be all of us will be the winner, and there will be no loser. And this is where it's very important that we look at the history in a way that it will give us the right values to create a better future, but not to be a hostage of the past, a hostage of these conflicts, fights between different religion, different ethnic. It's very important to understand that with the social media, with the internet, our kids are able to access information and to engage and create relation with friends all over the world. And this is where we have to immune them, by protecting our other values, but at the same time, respecting the other's value, and also promoting the common values that we share together. I wish you the best in this session, and look forward actually to seeing you in person rather than doing it on Zoom. But it's very important to understand that what we are talking about, we all need it. All society, all nation, all religion, all ethnic, they need to promote these values. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this remarkable opening address. Now we have a very prominent person from Southeast Asia to do our keynote address. He's none other than the minister from Cambodia. His Excellency Datuk Dr. Usman Hassan is a senior minister in charge of Special Mission Islamic Affairs in Kingdom of Cambodia. He served Cambodian Member of Parliament in 1998-2003, and in 1999 he became advisor to Cambodian Prime Minister. In 2013 to 2018 he served Deputy Minister of Labor and Vocational Training in Prime Minister Office. From 2015 to present, he continued to serve Special Envoy of Cambodian Prime Minister and Special Envoy of Cambodia to OIC. He has been holding position of Vice Chairman of Cambodia's Halal Product Control Committee since 2016. In 2018, he was granted honorary doctorate from Fatani University, Thailand. He was appointed by Supreme Council of Muslim World League Rabita as one of the Supreme Council member of representing Cambodian community in 2018. He was minister attached to the Prime Minister during 2013 to 2018. He is always in the forefront of combating this extremism, and also he's working for harmony and tolerance. I warmly welcome His Excellency Dr. Usman Hassan for delivering his keynote address. Please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellency Dr. Ali Rashid Al-Nuaimi, Chairman of the World Muslim Community Council. Excellency Dr. Professor, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I have the great pleasure to give a key speech in the important meeting. I believe that the seminar will provide the important input and recent experience coming from countries of Southeast Asia, according to the above topics, leading to have a Muslim community with prosperity, harmony, and more achievement in their own countries. Cambodia have its population more than 16 million. 90% are Buddhists, which the state religion, and 5% are Muslim, and 2 are other religion. Even the Buddhism is the state religion, but the royal government has paying much attention to all religion through giving the policy to Muslims to live in full of freedom, daily life, profession, and their wide religious practice in whole country, which has 610 Muslim villages. The royal government of head by សម្ដេចអគ្គមហាសេនាបតីតេជោហ៊ុនសែន Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia, allowed to nominate the representative of the community to become the leaders in the institution, such as the senator, member of parliament, member of royal government, secretary of state, undersecretary of state, high diplomat, local authority in national level and such as national level, all kind of army and all kind of officer, especially from the general election on 29 July 2018. Also, we have Muslim representative and the deputy governor of province, district, member of the province council, member of the district council. Since year 2015, over 1,500 Muslim teachers who had been integrated as the government officer of Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport got the payroll from the government. All citizens, Muslim or non-Muslim, receive a COVID-19 vaccination to get the 5th dose and treatment in Kuwait. Muslim partition of COVID-19 receive also the halal food during the treatment, etc. In fact, we really need to live together. Even our people have different religion, belief, and such become because it is the nature create from Allah. If Allah will create for the human being a religion, but it is the determination from Allah, as Allah said in the Quran. Walau sya'a rabbuka la'amana man fil ardi kulluhum jami'an. Surah Yunus ayat 99. Which means that if Allah has willing, then He will make a people to have belief in Him. Along with my experience and the harmonization in Cambodia being given to the Muslim community in Cambodia, I would like to share the below recommendation. Continue to support strongly all policy of the government in the country through the election, participation, and other activities which make the nation and our own community to have stability, peace, freedom, and religious practice and development. Continue to have unity in the promoting community of the understanding of risk of the conflict and separation into peace, which make the community power lower, leading to be destroyed by the enemy. Try our best to strengthen the collaboration and attend all programs of the government of both Islam and non-Islam, function especially with the Buddhism, the state religion, increase the knowledge to the youth, especially the young generation, through giving opportunity, encouragement, participating the social work, and focusing to the positive ideology teaching. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for this.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for this insightful keynote address, and we all thank you really for joining us this time. Especially, it was wonderful to hear, how Muslims integrate with other communities in Cambodia and the harmonious activities of the government. As our chairman, the World Muslim Community's chairman, His Excellency Dr. Ali Rashid Noaimi, noted to you that we will have in person, hopefully, there in Southeast Asia with you, inshallah. Any comment or any comment on this? Then we will move to next panel. Any questions or comments to the chairman or the ministers from any speakers or panelists? Then we will move to the next one.
Assalamualaikum, Excellency Dr. Osman. We Malaysians always try to assist Cambodian Muslims. Are you aware about Malaysian NGO activities in Cambodia?
I can't. Again, please.
Okay. Malaysians always go to Cambodia for some activities to help the Muslims. Are you aware about what they're doing, and are they doing a good job in Cambodia to assist the Muslims? Are they helping the Muslims in Cambodia?
Yes, thank you. For Cambodian government, we look at is all to open the door for everybody from abroad come to help to the Muslim community. So like in Malaysia, always in the Ramadan and in the Idul Adha, yes, all is they come to Cambodia to give the food package to the Muslim community, and also they make the kurbani in Cambodia. Every year we got a lot is from donation is from Malaysia and from our Muslim countries, because the government opened the door for everybody can support to the Muslims. Not like another country. I know that is some country, they're not so happy when the Muslim is come and only support to the Muslim. Yeah, but Cambodia, no. Yeah, you can do for everything is you want.
Thank you so much for the interaction, and we will move to the next panel because this is because we have only 1.5 hour time and we have a lot of speakers to speak. Thank you for joining us, especially the great time of the chairman and also the minister. We'll move to the next panel. The second panel is on ground and history of religious coexistence in Southeast Asia. We have speakers Datuk Mussolini from Philippines. He's a member of Parliament, Bangsamoro Transition Authority, and also Dr. Suhadi, Dean of Faculty of Education from Indonesia, and also Professor Dr. Ainul Jaria Moidin, International Islamic University, Malaysia, and Dr. Isaac from Indonesia. So I would like to welcome the first speaker, Honorable Datuk Mussolini Lidasen. He's the Honorable Member of Parliament of Bangsamoro Transition Authority of Bangsamoro autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. He was also the 21st Commissioner for the Expand Bangsamoro Transition Committee, and he is the co-founder and executive director for the Al-Qalam Institute, Islamic Identities and Dialogue in Southeast Asia. I warmly welcome parliamentarian, our friend.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I apologize for having a background that is quite noisy. I'm still in the office right now, here in Manila, in our Malacanang, near the office of the president. So, but at any rate, when Dr. Abbas texted me last week to attend this, I made sure that I have time. This group, our organization, is very important, especially when we are promoting coexistence, not only in our country, but the whole world. The principle of coexistence is very important, especially in our context, where the Muslims, Christians, and the indigenous peoples are struggling to achieve lasting peace in Mindanao. It's good that the comprehensive agreement of the Bangsamoro that was signed a few years ago in 2017 is now under implementation, where we created, the government created the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, where this government aims to be inclusive, to include different sectors, different groups that can help achieve lasting peace in Mindanao. The idea that Mindanao, the peace in Mindanao is elusive is no longer true. Peace is within our hands. Peace is within our hands as long as we believe in the principle of coexistence, wherein we transcend political divides, economic divides, and ideological divides. We now face a much challenging world. It's fast moving, and a war on climate change, war on different issues and concerns that affects humanity, needs our unity, needs everyone to work hand in hand to address these concerns. A few weeks ago here in the Philippines, there are a series of floods in Cebu, in Manila, and even in Mindanao. Helpless farmers and fisher folks were affected. And therefore, our call right now in our government with the different groups, with the different Moro fronts, those former rebels who are now part of the government, helping the government, is to understand the principle of coexistence, wherein we all work hand in hand to achieve lasting peace. As much as I would want to elaborate, but again, I know this is a very short period of our discussions, and I once again thank Dr. Abbas for inviting me. And I do hope someday we could have a similar conference, having a face-to-face and not just online. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much for joining us in these rush occasions, and especially for insight on the scenario in your place. And we have next speaker, Dr. Suhadi. He's the Dean of Faculty of Education in University of Nahdlatul Ulama, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. He's lecturer of Graduate School of State Islamic University. Please, Suhadi. Dr. Suhadi, it's your turn, please. Suhadi, we cannot hear you. Could you open your mic or? Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear it for now?
Now it's audible, please.
Okay. Okay, then I will repeat what I said First of all, I would like to say my gratitude to the World Muslim Communities Councils, especially to Dr. Ali Rashid Al-Nuaimi and also Dr. Abbas Panakal. Thanks for this collaborations on online symposium on religious casting in Southeast Asia, unity in diversity. And because of our time is very limited, because many speakers will share their experiences and also their thoughts, I share this PowerPoint to make my talk more focused. So my topic is on Pancasila, Society and Coexistence, reflection from Indonesia. Pancasila, that is the Indonesian basic ideology. We usually put this, make it as basis of interreligious or inter-ethnic coexistence norms, in which in Pancasila we believe in God or our nations based on spirituality and then humanity, national unity, democracy and social justice. These are we call as the pillars of Pancasila. And I try to looking at the impact of Pancasila toward our society, and also how do society create creativity of at the micro level. So I will share in very short, only maybe 3 or 4 slides, the result of my research in Solo, Central Java, some years ago. I interviewed for about 150 participants in 24 FGDs. They are Muslim groups, Christian group, and also Muslim Christian mixed groups. Diversity deeply rooted in our society, but at the same time eagerness to unite in diversity. So this is really in line with the theme or the topic of our discussion currently. I put a quotation from what one of my participants said, that I grew up in a Pancasila family. Actually, Pancasila is not type of family, but this is a national norm or national ideology. But people make it as part of their identity. My father is Hindu, my mother is Muslim, their children are Christian. I also come from another participant said that I also come from a Pancasila background. My extended family consists of Christian, Catholic, and Muslim. Here we can say that even though Pancasila doesn't talk directly about the diversity, but people understood that Pancasila is like their ground norm to connect people with diversity. But as we know, maybe that's also happened in other countries in Southeast Asia, conflict and violence sometimes happens. And how do we explain about those conflict and violence? How to explain conflict and violence in the history, and why people tend to return back to normal or peaceful as soon as possible in this country. In this city, there's complexity of interreligious identity, inter-ethnic identity, and its connection with the riot. Scholars or historians noted that there were conflict in 1972, 1980, and 1998. The finding of my my research, it was published in German, in Munich. The titles come from Pancasila Family, a discursive study on Muslim Christian identity transformation in Indonesia post-Reformation era. At individual levels, I look at that people.
انظروا إلى الناس، أي أن الناس يحاولون أن يوازنوا ويقولوا، البعض منهم قد يكون من الأسرة الممتدة والأصدقاء، والكثير منهم يرون أن الفانتاسيلا من الكفر أو شيء من الكفر، ولكن في المجتمع يعني تجد بعض المسلمين يكفرون الناس، ومن المنظور الكنسي أيضا تجد هذا. فإذا كان هناك نوع من التوتر في المجتمع، فإن أفراد المجتمع يحاولون أن يخلقوا شيئا، أي أن الناس يحاولون أن يخلقوا شيئا يتميز به المجتمع بدلا من الهويات. فإذا على المستوى الفردي الناس يحاولون أن يميزوا أنفسهم في إطار باكنسيلا، باعتبار وأن هذا هو جزء من الدراسات التي ركزت عليها في مجال السوشيولوجيا أو في اللغويات الاجتماعية. هذه هي الشريحة النهائية. على المستوى المؤسسي، المستوى المؤسسي، المسألة هنا أنا أعتقد أن الدين كمؤسسة
Christianity as religion of love. But in the society, there's also competing voices to define what is considered normal Muslim and good Christian. That's really lively in the society. Thus, they identify. But it is quite interesting that they try to identify extremism as not the norm but exception to the rule of religions. The story could be long, but because of time limitation, I shortly speaking that people identify extremism as something not norms, not normal, and it is exceptions from the rule of religions. At the societal level, what I learned from the society is that the liberalization politics and pluralizations, Dr. Ali Numaini said in his opening speech in this conference on globalizations. Here we also witnesses the liberalization politics and pluralization of religion after the Reformation of Indonesia 1998. But this is still quite strong that at the grassroots level, people identifying that Indonesia as a Pancasila country. When the conflict happened, even when terrorism acts happened, people return to normal as soon as possible. They want to be returned back to normal as soon as possible after the riots, showing that conflict is not normal. The normal rule is peace and calm. This is very, very strong in the society. That's why even though we witness sometimes there's tension, conflict among people, among society. But now people learn to go back as soon as possible when conflict happen in the society. The last slide as a closing, Dr. Abbas shared to me the draft of monograph of Dr. Ali Rashid about the coexisting with diversity and accepting the different. Very nice piece of manuscript, and stating that the UAE experience is much like experimental laboratory for the future of humanity. I learned so much from the writing, from the draft, and but I at the same time I want to share that there are also comparable experience from Southeast Asian countries, especially Indonesia. That's why the discussion and collaboration are mandatory to learn and develop a peaceful world. And I really welcome this kind of exploration, discussion, and we can take lesson learned from each countries and experience of the society. Thank you, Dr. Abbas.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this insightful presentation. First, we heard from Cambodia, then from Philippines, now from Indonesia, and we will move to Malaysia. We have Professor Dr. Ainul Jairia Muhyiddin. He's a member of the National Committee on Harmony Malaysia, who developed conducting training for Ministry of Unity and Integrity Malaysia to train religious and community leaders. She has her PhD from University of Wales, and she is also a solicitor, non-practicing advocate in High Court of Malaysia, and accredited mediator for Accord Group Australia. Yes, please, Professor.
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon to my non-Muslim presenters. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Dr. Abbas. And also thank you, Dr. Ali Rashid Al-Nuami, the president, for creating this session. It's like a very, though it's too short, I find it's too short. I don't know what to say. I mean, we lawyers, we speak very, very lengthy words. So anyway, I try my best to keep it short. I was given only 10 minutes by Dr. Abbas, but I try to see how I can, I mean, this is the beginning, I think, for us to share, and possibly later we develop into a better project for us to launch it on the ground. So Malaysian government, we actually, what we are facing now is we have the colonial legacy. There's pre-independence where the colonialists did divide and rule. So they segregated the Malay, Chinese and Indian major ethnics in the country. So this caused a lot of tension. Then post-independence, what the government did, especially our first prime minister, he promoted with his team of ministers, they promoted unity. So there's so much dedication, so much effort, so much resources dedicated to promote greater unity among all the people. In fact, when we got independence from the British colonialists, our sultans, our rulers, they negotiated something called social contract. And this social contract is actually manifested and embodied in our constitution, which is the supreme law. So it's very, very important, whatever law or whatever policy the government makes, they must comply with the federal constitution. So the constitution provides that everyone is equal before the law. The non-Muslims' rights are protected. Non-Muslims' right to profess and propagate their religion except to the Malay Muslims is allowed. Malay Muslims are Muslims and they cannot leave the religion. No murtad allowed, no apostasy allowed in Malaysia for Malaysia. And also at the same time, everyone got freedom to conduct their own education system in their own language. So this is a very important development after the independence to enable the people to not to be so prejudiced and say that, oh, this is all favoring the Malay Muslims. So everyone's got their role. However, the government still face challenges. There's a lot of challenges faced in our country at the moment, especially due to, I blame the social media where there is no censorship and people can post whatever they want and it travels in a lightning speed and everyone shares the information on social media without checking the accuracy of the information, whether it's fake or real, and at times it spreads too fast. So the government implemented a few strategies, just like Indonesia. We have Rukun Negara. This is the national ideology. Then we have the new economic policy, national cultural policy, national language, merger of political parties where we have major ethnic races forming one party called National Alliance or Barisan Nasional, which was the ruling party until the last election. Then we have the integration of territories, there is Sabah and Sarawak and the states in Peninsular Malaysia, and also the establishment of the Department for National Unity. So this Department of National Unity plays a very important role in promoting integration between the various ethnic races, including the natives from Sabah and Sarawak. And we also find many programs by the government here. So if you look at the national ideology or Rukun Negara, similar to the Panchasila, we also wanted to make sure our people believe in God. So everyone who believes in God will be a good person. Then loyalty to king and country is very important because the king is the is the head of the country. Although we have politicians, but the king is always defined as the head of the country. And then we have the supremacy of the constitution. As said earlier, the constitution is a supreme law. So any law made by the country, the parliament or the state level must not be in conflict with the constitution. Then we must also obey the law. No one is above the law, and also observe good behavior and morality. The government believed that when we have these particular principles in place, this one was formulated after the May 13, 1969 racial riot that was quite tragic. But Alhamdulillah, in Malaysia, we don't have such incidents anymore. We have skirmishes here and there. I've documented most of the religious skirmishes because my team from the International Islamic University, we conduct training for the religious and also community leaders under the purview of the Ministry of Unity. We compile all the social issues, and we help guide our religious leaders and community leaders on how to resolve problems amicably. So it's a very interesting program. I've discussed it, Dr. Abbas. Possibly next session we can have more in-depth discussion on this program. Yeah? Our new economic policy is always seen as a bias. So this caused some rift between the races. However, the government is trying its best to help the Malay community, which was left behind by the British during their time. Yeah? So this is also a problem causing a little bit of skirmishes. Also, we have issues like poverty and how we want to eradicate poverty. Poverty is also a cause of racial issue in our country. And also we have education policy. As I said earlier, we allow the vernacular schools or schools established by other other races, which also causes a little bit of a problem. And then we have the cultural policy. So we say everyone try to embrace each other's culture. And again, the language. We are all united by the Malay language as a national language to make sure that we can, communicate effectively with each other. Doesn't matter what race or religion, we come together. The dilemma in Malaysia is that race is associated with religion. Malays are Muslims, Chinese are Chinese are Buddhists or Tao, and the Indians are Hindus or Christians. So this is another issue. So our social issues can also escalate to be religious issues. So we are very, very particular about it. So we have the the Department for National Unity Integration is now a minister, a full-fledged ministry, and we have a minister managing the ministry to help promote unity. And the ministry has made plenty of initiatives at every level. And as a member of the National Harmony Committee, I do, give a lot of ideas, and they do take interest. The government takes great interest on promoting unity, because unity is very important. Without unity, we can never achieve sustainable development as well, which is, a very important initiative by the United Nations. So some of the challenges that we face in nation building is segregation of living areas of settlement. There are people who like to stay among their racial or religious group. Then we have different focus of economic sectors, segregation in education system, differing political ideologies and influences, differing religions and beliefs, use of ethnic-based newspapers, and influence of social media. Okay, I'm not going to go in detail. I will share my presentation. I think I can't go beyond 10 minutes. Dr. Abbas gave me only 10 minutes. So, okay. Any questions? I don't like to rush, but I have no choice. I have to finish in 10 minutes. Thank you very much, Dr. Abbas, and thank you everyone for listening to me.
Thank you so much, especially giving a overall idea on the Malaysian integration and coexistence. And hope we will have, as our chairman mentioned, we will have more sessions in future, and we will meet in person, possibly. And from Malaysia, we will move to another scholar from Indonesia. He's from Christian University, Dr. Isaac. He's an assistant professor on interreligious engagements and sociology of religion, Satyawangga Christian University, Indonesia. He has done his PhD from Graduate Theological Union, the University of California, Berkeley in 2015. He has been dedicated his research on interreligious and intercultural engagements in Indonesian Christian-Muslim relations. Let us hear from Dr. Isaac, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abbas, for introduction, and also thank you for invitation. Also thank you for His Excellency Dr. Ali Rashid Al Nuaimi and the World Muslim Communities Council for the invitation. Even though it is very short, but I try to do my best. So it is, I would like to share a little bit about this chart that coming out from my coming book. My forthcoming book will be published by Brill 2013, early 2013, on on rethinking interreligious dialogue, orality, collective memory, and Christian-Muslim engagements in Indonesia. So, as Dr. Suhadi mentioned about Indonesian context, and it gives avenue for me to share about the chart that I just draw here, that in Indonesia, when we talk about interreligious engagement, and it is also part of politic citizenship, but it's not only politic of citizenship, but it is based on recognition that Dr. Swadi already mentioned about our Pancasila ideology, that it gives us structural climbs for interreligious relations based on what Indonesian founders just draw as a covenant. I will say I'll take it as a covenant of the nation, and it is the promise of interreligious relation in Indonesia. And then we also in the civil society level, we also have intermediary associational initiatives of citizenry. We have like what happened in happened in Philippines, that Bishop Ulama Council or meetings. We have that in Indonesia called Forum Kerukunan Antar Umat Beragama. It's also part of elites meetings, but it's not only elites that start interreligious relationship. When we go to a quotidian relationship like quotidian web of cultural trust, we also have many initiatives, and people live in daily life according to their mutual respect, mutual understanding on others. Dr. Swadi mentioned about his research in Solo, and it's very much true. The church and the mosque that he just posed in his cover book, it's the church that I get married, all my children get baptized in the church. And it is true that everyday relationship, quotidian relationship is very strong in Indonesian everyday relationship. But also when we talk about virtual imagination, especially based on virtual reality, presence in social media, in Facebook, although it is also part of contestation in Indonesia, but it brings hope because youth pose many not only provocative in the sense that it's trigger interreligious understanding and respect, but also it's a calling for coming together as Indonesia. Although we are aware about the contested argument, contested narrative in virtual spheres, but at least it has become another sphere, another space, another social space, another interreligious space that we can employ, and Indonesian youth already use that for bringing interreligious relationship in virtual life. So I will say that in Indonesian context, we have structural, we have civil society, we have everyday relationship, but we have also like virtual social medias, internet things, stuff that can help people to bring interreligious understanding. So this is the situation when the founders of Indonesia draw the covenant of interreligious engagement, and it is actually will of all. It is not only general will, but this is the will of all. This is everybody will to have interreligious relation, interreligious understanding, interreligious connection. Dr. Shadi just mentioned about. Then it has become the spirit, the DNA of Indonesia to accept religious diversity, and it's a calling for more mutual understanding and interreligious engagement in Indonesia. But it is not only, again, it's not only government policy, but it's also part of civil society. In everyday life, in associational life, in imaginations, like sphere of imagination, it is also part of that. Why is that so? We try to get rid of the politics of panopticon, borrowing from Foucault. So interreligious engagement idea is not the politics of panopticon, that politics that pours from above, but it should be something come out from everyday life, from civil society, from kinship, from understanding, from friendship. So in Indonesia, we have rooms, ample room to come together, and it is not only part of government policy, but it is also part of civil society. I'm taking this one. This is the beduk in an Indonesian mosque in eastern part of Indonesia. This beduk is this drum in the mosque is looks like it is original drum, but this is actually the mosque drum, the mosque beduk that comes from their kinship Christian community. So they built in this community, they built new mosque. But in order to have Muslim ritual in Muslim mosque, they need the beduk. And the beduk should come from their Christian kinship network. And it is very important because in the heart of the mosque itself, it is stands interreligious material culture, using the theory of material culture and lived religion from Nancy Ammerman and others, that we can also see that this is part of Indonesian daily life, imagination, material culture, that it is part of Indonesian DNA. It's not only from structural, but also horizontal, from cultural, and it still bring imagination of coming together as interreligious community. But we have also challenge in many ways, because like sense of majoritarianism is very strong in many ways. When I mention about majoritarianism, it's not pointing to one particular religion, but in many area where religion or one particular religion is predominant religion, and the sense of majoritarianism is very strong. So that's why in Indonesian constitution, like Dr. Swadi just mentioned, that we have to remind our community, bringing the understanding, the awareness against that as Indonesian, we have ideology, but we have also everyday calling. We have the narrative in everyday life that can bring us together. And it is actually the narrative of coming together, the narrative, the politics of coming together, the politics of recognition of citizenship, that bringing Indonesia into mutual relationship. This is the challenge, actually. Another challenge is we have religious diversity sometimes, but but the challenge of citizenship is very strong here and there. That's why in structural spheres, in civil society, in everyday, and even in virtual internet spheres, we have to bring the narrative of coming together, understanding interreligious engagement, in order to create sense of interreligious understanding, recognition, and highlight Indonesian Pancasila as a social glue for everybody to come together as a nation. This is, I think this is the richness of Indonesia, the richness of country of Indonesia, where we have religious understanding, cultural, that can be based, can be foundation for coming together. And we have strong civil initiative for interreligious relationship. So I think that's all from me. Make it short, less than 10 minutes, so other speakers can also post their ideas. So thank you so much, Abbas and friends. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this wonderful insight. And please, especially to note that, Dr. Isaac's new book will be coming out from the Brill publisher. It is entitled Rethinking Interreligious Dialogue, Orality, Collective Memory, and Christian-Muslim Engagement in Indonesia. So thank you for joining us. And we are summing up this session. And I leave to Mr. Muhammad Abdullah, who will be moderating next sessions. He's a PhD candidate in Islamic Studies and Christian-Muslim Relations at Hartford International University for Religion and Peace. So he's also currently working in Islamic University of Surabaya. And Suhadi, all are here. And also Muhammad Abdullah, he is more, I think, more strict on time after his long 5 years tenure in Peace University there in Connecticut. Please, Abdullah, it's your turn.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Abbas. I'm sorry. My son. Okay, thank you for having me in this wonderful sessions. So we'll have the next sessions. We'll have 4 speakers here. So without okay, let me just introduce the first speaker. He is Rabbi Yaakov Baruch. He is a rabbi at the Shar Hashemian Synagogue, which is the only synagogue in Indonesia. In 2004, he is the founder of the Indonesian Holocaust Museum a few months ago. To be exact, it's early this year, January 27th, 2022. To serve as a memorial to the Nazis' atrocities against the Jews and their political enemies. The museum also features non-Jewish figures such as Sheikh Kadur Bengabrit, who saved 500 Jews of Paris in the crucial threat of the death penalty if caught by the Nazis. So Rabbi Yaakov will be talking about the unity and diversity in Indonesian context. So Rabbi Yaakov, the time is yours.
Thank you. Shalom everyone. Assalamu alaikum. First is Excellency Dr. Ali Rashid Al-Noaimi, the Chairman of the World Muslim Communities Council, and Excellency of Nadatuk Dr. Osman Hassan, the Senior Minister of Islamic Affairs in Cambodia, and Dr. Abbas Panakal and Muhammad Abdullah as well, and Honorable Speaker. Thank you for the chance. Let me start with today's view about the diversity from the perspective toward the world view and the custom of the Jews are diverse and wide-ranging. This diversity runs to our very origins. We began as a family, but even the family was born from difference. Jacob fathered 12 children who became the heads of the 12 tribes of Israel. Those 12 children came from 4 different mothers, 2 of whom were women not related to Jacob, as Rachel and Leah were, and while today all that is left of that great and diverse nation are the descendants of the 3 tribes. The genetic of all are undetermined within us. We are anything but monolithic, according to the Chacham Joseph Dweck. And we, as a Sephardim Jews, we don't seem to grow up with the denominationalism. It means we not split our Jewish brothers and sisters in our bones. Typically, we are deeply conscious of being Jewish, but not of any narrower identity. God created a man in his image and is unworthy to be in dispute with any of God's creation, whether between a Jew and his brother, a Jew and a Christian, or a Jew and a Muslims. This is because in regard to humanity and the betterment of the world, we are all brothers, while in regard to the religion, they will follow the religion they wish. But we ourselves will walk in the name of God and His Holy Torah. No government has jurisdiction over people's soul, only of their bodies. And so we are permitted to live by the Torah and the Mitzvot, according to the Sechut Moshe, Sermon 7, in the beginning of redemption, printed in Matei Moshe, according to Rabbi Moshe Halfon Cohen. So, because of this teaching, the Indonesian Jewish community we expanded the idea not only to the fellow Jews, but also to all people, to the non-Jews as well. Because our vision is of a world where everyone enjoys equal rights, irrespective of class, religious belief, culture, and sexual orientation. From these pictures, you can see how even Judaism is not a part of the 6 main religions it recognized by the government and the local belief. But Judaism already in Indonesia, even we are very small, we try to blend it in the diversity in Indonesia. So what we do it in our synagogue, every Ramadan, sometimes we doing the iftar, we invite the Muslim community to break the fast inside the synagogue. And then I usually invite them to explain about the Jewish view, about other religion, what we have in the Torah, and we share what the similarity between us. And from there, we can see that during the iftar, when our Muslim brothers want to do the prayer, Maghrib is doing our Maghrib prayer. We invite the fellow Jewish Muslims to have a prayer inside the synagogue because we count this as a God of Abraham or Ibrahim. And then from this, as you can see, we also have our synagogue activities to promote diversity with our fellow Christian as well. With the Orthodox, Catholic, and the Protestant, we make an alliance to discuss about the similarity of the Bible, and we try to avoid the argument about the Messiah, about the doctrine. We try to be a good partner in the discussion so we can solve all the problems that involve the Jews and the Christians in this country. And Shara Shamaim Synagogue also, our activity, we have a promote diversity. Like last time, I involved in the KSIT and we visit the Buddhist monastery in Yogyakarta. Also with Mr. Suhadi and Pam as well on that time. And also, not only the synagogue, but like you mentioned, I built the Holocaust Museum. This Holocaust Museum, if we're talking why I built this, because every time we talk about Holocaust, it's not only a crime against the Jews. Yeah, it was more than that. The Holocaust is a crime against humanity. Warning of the tragedy from the past must continue to sound loudly in our collective consciousness. We must use our voice, memories, and personal experience of the Holocaust to defend those who are oppressed, be it like the Muslims in the Xinjiang, in Uyghurs, the Christian blacks, Arabs in the Middle East, indigenous people, and whoever it is. And as a people who know all too well how it feels to be hated, persecuted, and killed for who we are, we should not turn our backs on every human tragedy that occurs. This is the pictures when we do it, the International Holocaust Remembrance Day this year with the Germany and Austrian embassy in Indonesia. So our Holocaust Museum is the first Holocaust Museum in Southeast Asia. This is the ambassador of the German, Excellency Mrs. Ina Lepel, like the 6th candle to remember the 6 million Jews. And this is the opening of the first museum. And also during the International Holocaust Remembrance Day, I invite people from many backgrounds. As you can see, the Muslims, Christian, the Baha'is, the Orthodox Christian, even a few kind people from the Islamic, like from the Sunni. The local belief, the indigenous people, Anglican Christian. Yeah, so I don't want to waste more time. I just want to share that this is the diversity that the Jewish community in Indonesia and also in Southeast Asia try to be blended and try to be accessed as a part of in Indonesia. Because we believe in Pancasila, that according to Pancasila, every people who believe in all kind of religion have a right to exist in this country. And I want to say a special thank you to Dr. Suhadi to invite me in this event so I can share about our experience as a Jew in Indonesia. And I want to invite all the speakers. If you have time, you can visit our synagogue in Indonesia and Holocaust Museum as well. Please let me know if you come to Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Yaakov, for your wonderful presentations and sharing with us about the experience of the Holocaust museums in introducing the diversity within the Indonesian context and Minahasa and abroad. So our next speaker is Miss Kanapon Kanapon Pam Akarapisan. I'm sorry if I made wrong.
You made it very well.
Thank you. Okay, she is the head of Southeast Asian programs and director of lifelong learning program of Payap University in Thailand. She graduated from. She received her Master of Development Administrations in the Faculty of Political Science from Western Michigan University in the USA, and the Bachelor of International Affairs Faculty of Political Science from Thammasat University. And now she is working as head of Southeast Asian Program, Director of Lifelong Learning Program in Payap University, Chiang Mai, Thailand. Time is yours.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi to all. I don't know. It's evening over here. Should be after your afternoon somewhere somehow. So yeah, good afternoon, good evening, whatever. Please bear with my voice because I just came back from Jogja from Dr. Suhadi, and then I got COVID, but I'm not contagious from here. So be happy. You can listen to me, smile with me. You will not get it. Okay. And then thank you very much for having me here. Dr. Suhadi just called me like yesterday or the day before yesterday saying that, a guy named Abbas, Dr. Abbas will call you to tell you about this program. So I will not have any beautiful PowerPoint like others. I'm so sorry because of the symptom. I couldn't do much, but I am very happy and feel honored to be here with you all. And they told me that I have 10 minutes. I might not use that much, but I just like to share with you about the peace building or the interfaith dialogue from the ground, from the experience of people from the ground. I started off my career as a diplomat at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Thailand. And at that time, I didn't wear hijab yet because it was not allowed. And then it was allowed, but you would not grow in your position at the ministry. So until 2008, I got invited to join the IVLP of State Department of America. They invited 2 women from Thailand, and I happened to be, alhamdulillah, one of the women. So I joined the peace building IVLP program to America. So I met first time in my life to visit a synagogue of Jewish and to look at many sects of Muslims, organizations working on peace building, interfaith dialogue, interreligious and intercultural, which really hit my heart big time. So my degree is not directly with the peace building or anything, but from that time, from that year, 2008, I felt something in my heart that this work, this path is very important. I got inspired big time, let's say that. So I came back home and then I did start working because I found myself as an only Muslim in a Christian country, in this Christian university and in a heavy Buddhist country. And everywhere I go, no matter the school, the university, at workplace, I always be an only Muslim at that place in the group. So it's really inspired me that I want to be an ambassador of Islam in my own country, because sometimes a minority, I will not say only Muslim, I can say on behalf of my Sikh and Hindu friends who are also minorities over here, that sometimes we feel lonely even in our home place, even in our home country, because people let us do our thing. That is good, but not good enough. They let, like if we have lunch, we have dinner together, they allow us to bring our own box of food, which is good enough. They don't force us to eat things that we cannot eat, but there's no sense of of being apart, because no one care, no one prepare for your food or bring halal food, but you have to bring your own food and then sit with us and then eat your food and then we eat our food or something like that. So something like that made me feel very inspired. So I came back from America from the IVLP, from the IVLP program that time. I started my own mosque tour. I work full time at the university, and then on Saturday, Sunday, I went to the mosque close to my house and stayed there for foreigners, for Buddhists who want to tour the masjid to know more about Muslim or something like that. So I keep doing that for a long time. And then at the university, at my department, it's Southeast Asian Study, which has nothing much to do with the interfaith or interreligion dialogue, but then I find a way to put it into the program. I have a chance to welcome before COVID about 22 to 23 groups from many parts of the world. So I take a chance that one day give it to me. So I will tour you. I walk you to the first church of Presbyterian, and then to a mosque of Muslim, and then to a temple of Buddhists, and then to a Sikh temple, which happened to be in the same community. So we can finish the whole thing in one day, which I think it's a good feeling. And then people learn more about each other, especially people from Western side of the world. They will just like, oh, I'm so happy to have a chance to walk into a mosque. I really want to see, but I dare not walk into a mosque in my home country. So something like that. And then before I finish, I'd like to share with you all one experience that keep me pushing me ahead, because sometimes I felt very tired. Sometimes I think all of you feel the same thing when you do something and you think you don't see the results right away, then you feel tired. You feel like, oh, come on, it's all bullshit. I want to quit it or something like that. So I print this message from an American girl who came here, and then when she saw me first time, saw me with my hijab, she said, oh, I don't want you as a leader of my group. I want to change. I want to change. She went straight to my boss, and then my boss just like, oh, the only one you have, so take it or leave it or something like that. So anyway, we stayed together for 3 months for the program, and then she started off hating me, not talking to me and stuff like that until she got sick. And then I took care of her. And I don't know, with sincerity, I didn't mean anything. I didn't mean harm. I didn't mean that she has to return anything. So at the end, she said bye-bye. And then she asked me that, can I have a hug between a Christian and a Muslim? And then when she went home, she also wrote a message onto her Facebook that I found Jesus in a Muslim woman. So I printed that out and framed it and put it in my office. So anytime I feel hopeless with interfaith or interreligious, I looked at it, I reread it, and then I think, inshallah, with all our work and try, we will achieve something. Okay, thank you very much to you all. Thank you to your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Akarapisan. Hopefully you get well soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. An interesting story, by the way, about the the relationship between the lady and you. Our next speaker is Mr. Ashin Mandela Lankara. He is a peace activist working on the interfaith and intercultural dialogue in Myanmar and around the world. He conducted a series of training on interfaith and intercultural dialogue in Myanmar, Rome, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, US, and Austria. He was also invited to speak at several panels and public events and universities on peace, religion, culture, and interfaith dialogue. He holds the Samanekya degrees and was awarded as Linkara. He has done Master of Art degree in Buddhist Studies, University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka in 2017-2018. And he will be talking about the daily practice on peace on personal and community levels in Myanmar. Mr. Mandela, the time is yours.
Thank you so much for your invitation. Thank you for inviting to share my experience in interreligious dialogue, interreligious journey, how to become a peacemaker as a Buddhist monk and to engage in our society. 2015, when I wake up to see the conflict in my country, the Buddhist monks always see the problem of the minority, majority, the Buddhist Muslim and the Buddhist Christian conflicts are there. And in Myanmar, as you see, the many conflicts are there. Now we faced not only the religious conflict, the most essential part of the political, conflicts are there, and fighting civil war, and also the lack of food and lack of job and lack of money, and people are, dying and suffering a lot. That's why I focus on my daily life when I practice the meditation, and also see clearly to be kind-hearted, to listen and the other suffering, and also to act, to behave other people, to have as much as possible, and also it can harm the other people when people are suffering a lot. And in Myanmar, we are growing up with the conflict since when I was young, but I have never learned the other people's suffering, which is the most important for our life, how to get peace. Buddhism always talk about the peace, not to kill other living beings, not to steal other people's poverty, not to misconduct, not to tell a lie, not to use the alcohol, the drugs, which is good morality, to be good person, and also always take care of the other people, and also practice ourselves mindfulness to get the peace, to get the loving kindness by practicing. When we wake up every morning, we decided today I as much as I could not to harm the other people, to take care of all living beings, not only human beings, but also all living beings. And also we have to serve the other people who really need it. And also we have to speak, we have to act in a good way. But unfortunately, the whole country is chaos, politically, and also the politics always use religion or religion as a tool, to play, to get the power for their own life. They have a self-centered thinking and speaking always that they do. That's why there was conflict. We could see that, and also no one solution are there. When we pick up the political conflicts, it's also linking with the religion or ethnic or culture and many things. And also still, when we pick up the one issue in Myanmar, like human rights violation, and also still we could see linking with the religion or politics or economic crisis. It's hard to find the many root causes. And then when we see the root causes in our country individually, as the spiritual practitioner, the three root causes are there. These are greedy and hatred and delusion, illusion. The three poisons are there in everyday life. When they take these three poisons there, they are trying to kill the other people by dying them. It cannot create peace and happiness in their own life, in our own life. That's why we have to share these essence there for our life. And also, when we speak, we have to link it together with the compassion and loving kindness to listen to the other people and to get, the meaningful life, not to harm the other people. When we listen to the other people, we have to listen with the compassion. If not necessary, when we speak, it's not true, it's not necessary, it's not correct. So we have to keep our mouths not to harm the other people. If the other people hurt, so we have to not behave the other people. To try ourselves, me and my communities and also the globe. And whatever we do, we have to focus on the do no harm and or not to harm. Even environment, we have to take care of them by cultivating, kind heart. Which is the most important in our life, which is being a good Buddhist, a good Muslim, a good Hindu, whatever you have been holding the identity. The identity is no important by doing this practice. If I am, become, accepting my identifying as a Buddhist man by hating the other people, by killing the other people, it's nonsense, if I am a Muslim, if I'm a Christian, if I do these kinds of things, I shouldn't born here in the world. I have to create the world with the peace and, kind heart. We have very short, limited time. We will die in a, short period of time. And also when we die, we could, leave many good things for the next generation. Thank you so much for your given time and inviting me, giving a chance to share my idea in that great chance. And also I hope to get next time to listen more and to speak more. And that's in dialogue section. Thank you so much for everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Mandela, for amazing presentations. And the last speaker is Harisna Hikmah. She is a lecturer at the University of Nahdlatul Ulama, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. She graduated from the Yogyakarta State University in English Studies. And she is also an activist of Nahdlatul Ulama women organizations called Fatayat. And Fatayat has a community development programs, including economic sustainable program for women. Harisna is also active in the Pesantren or Islamic boarding school, engaging in intercultural dialogue for youth. So Harisna, as you have seen in the screen, we'll be talking about the Pesantren and religious coexistence in Indonesia. Okay, Harisna, the time is yours.
Well, okay, thank you so much. Can you hear my voice clearly? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. The Excellencies, Dr. Osman Hassan and Dr. Suhaimi, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for inviting me so I can speak here to give my presentation entitled Pesantren and Religious Existence in Indonesia. Well, I will give my speech into some part. The first one, I will talk about the Indonesian population and the diversity. And then the second one, I will talk about the conflict because raised in Indonesia because of the diversity. And then the last one, I will talk about pesantren values and also how to implement the values in pesantren and relate it to the coexistence itself. Well, okay, I would like to start by, wait a minute. Yep. By the Indonesian population, that nowadays the total population of Indonesia based on Worldometer today is about 279 million who live in Indonesia. And from those, 87% of the population are Muslim people. So that there are 207 million Muslim in Indonesia, and it is the biggest Muslim community in the world. A part of Islam, there are also another various religions followed by citizens of Indonesia. There are Protestant, Catholic, Buddhist, Hindu, and also Confucian. And the total of the population is about 13%. In addition to the religions, Indonesia is also famous with diversity. It consists of diversities of languages, cultures, and also ethnicity. And with the diversities, it is potentially arise some conflicts in society, and some issue or conflicts happened in Indonesia are radicalism, terrorism, and repression. And we can learn from the previous years that there are bombing case in Bali for several years ago, and then repression from Confucians in Indonesia also. Those are the examples of conflicts. Yeah. And then, however, Nahdlatul Ulama, as the biggest Muslim organization, proposed pesantren or Islamic boarding school as one of the solutions to overcome some conflicts. It can be seen like in the case of repression of Confucian, when happened in the era of Gus Dur or Abdurrahman Wahid as the NU figure and also a leader of pesantren who became the third president in Indonesia. He dared to abolish the repression against the Confucians who were oppressed by the previous government, because at that time, Chinese were identically as communists in Indonesia. So Gus Dur was the pro-democracy figure who is well known as pluralism, and also he is very strong in fighting for religious coexistence. Well, we are going to return back to pesantren. Pesantren itself is Islamic education institution that not only teach about religion, but also teach about community empowerment. It is a place for santri. We call students of pesantren as santri, devotes most of his or her time to live in and to acquire knowledge. So pesantren is not just place to transfer of knowledge, but also to do transformation in the form of efforts to make changes toward the growth of strong personality and also strengthening of identity. So because pesantren students come from various parts of Indonesia, which have various different backgrounds. So when they are entering pesantren, and then they have to put off their background. They have to be united with the community in pesantren. So I think pesantren is a place to educate, to learn, and also to familiars. Tolerance, respect, and also recognition, diversity. And the values are embedded and emphasized in their daily activities, in their daily life in pesantren. So here are some values taught in pesantren. There are tawasud, tawazun, itidal, and also tasamu. We can see here tawasud means moderate attitude. Yeah. It can also say that we have to take in the middle way, means we where we are neither in the left extreme or right extreme. So in the context of community life, NU will always try, Nahdlatul Ulama will always try to put itself in the middle or moderate position. So Tawasud means that we have to be in the middle, not extreme to the left or extreme to the right. While Tawazun, the next values is Tawazun. Tawazun means balanced life. We have to stay in balance in understanding and practice of religions in all aspects of our life. We have to apply balanced rational and also religions in our daily life. In addressing something, Nahdlatul Ulama must try to be wise, to consider the cause and the effect, and also to consider the decision of the attitude taken. And the third values is Ittidal, which has the meaning of straight and firm, means placing something in its place and exercising rights and fulfilling obligation proportionally. And the last values taught in the Pesantren is Tasamuh, or we usually call it as tolerance, means that we are recognizing and also respecting difference, both religions and other aspects. And in being tolerant, there are signs that must be obeyed. Like we have to know, we have to recognize the right of everyone, the human rights, and then respecting belief of others, and then being generous in accepting differences, and then we must have mutual understanding each other, awareness, and also honesty. And how to implement these values in daily life, we can see there are some things that we need to do, like acknowledging the nature of human being, developing tolerance in other different social groups, having mutual understanding in social interactions. And also we have to defend our unitary state of Republic of Indonesia. I'm an Indonesian people, and then we are not involving in any rebellion action, and then we have to be able to accept any new good culture and perceiving old culture which are still relevant to our culture. Well, related to coexistence, because coexistence is wider than wider than tolerance, and then coexistence commonly works in not only in managing, maintaining, and promoting respect to the difference of religion, difference of tradition, ethic, and of culture. But coexistence have to work together to prevent conflict in society, to find the best solution, and to enhance peaceful living, and even to develop multicultural society. So by seeing the wide scope of coexistence itself and also the values taught in Pesantren, in my opinion, Pesantren becomes a good alternative place to develop various kind of values needed in realizing religious coexistence in the world, especially in Southeast Asia. I think that's all of my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Harisna, for the explanations of the Pesantren's role in managing religious diversity. That ends our sessions today, and I will give the talk to our brother, Dr. Abbas. Go ahead, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. We are summing up the things, and thank you for joining us, especially our chairman giving us the opportunity to host this kind of wonderful event, and also the senior minister from Cambodia for giving the keynote address, and the panelists, the specialists from different regions who contributed us, and also the practitioners in the second session. I thank you all for joining us and making this event very much successful, and hope we will have more opportunities in future together in person in different countries. And also our chairman has asked to get your papers, and it will be published by our organization soon, and please prepare your paper. We will publish it, and hope to see you soon again in different sessions, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, and wish you all the best and harmony.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Abbas.
Thank you very much. We'll meet again in another forum, inshallah.
Everyone,
Thank you.
stay in
Thank you,
touch.
thank you.
Thank you to all.
Thank you,
Assalamualaikum.
Dr. Isaac.
Good night.
Thanks, thanks.
Bye-bye. Hope to
Goodbye.
see you.
Bye.
Hope our
Bye.
path will cross one day.
Get well soon,
Thank you.
Dr. Abam. Ya.
Thank you, Mas Wadi. Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Bye-bye,
Thank you, Mas
Terima
Isaac.